What is going on, guys? Once again, Social Banter Podcast here. And as always, who's next to me?
His beautiful wife.
Yes, she's amazing. And obviously we're bringing you guys another amazing episode with one of Melissa's friends, new friends, that she's actually very known in the community.
A local business owner.
Yes. Let me fix this microphone real quick. There we go. All right, perfect. And she owns her own business, and pretty badass business, actually, if you ask me. But we'll get into that. But first, our sponsors. Go ahead, baby.
Okay, so let's start off with thanking Heather Feather at HK Floor Recoding. We're also going to thank Legendary Custom Tattoo, Legendary Screen Printing, and Legendary LTD. Of course, they take care of all your needs tattoo-wise, printing-wise, clothing apparel-wise, and we also have that Raul Sanchez for all your photography needs and videography needs.
Videography.
Videography.
We can't, none of us can say it right now. Videography. Jeez. And obviously, as always, congruo.com. Thank you for all your business needs, business mentoring, coaching, anything like that. He's there for you. Make sure to check him out at congruo.com. So, babe, do this intro.
All right. So we are going to introduce Nadine Dominguez from Talkhouse. She is local in Trinity, Florida. If you haven't already been there, you need to get there. Healthy protein shakes, teas, and not only that, some other things as well that she brings to the community. So let's say hi to Nadine.
Hi, guys.
What's going on?
Thank you so much for inviting me onto the show. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, thank you for accepting to come in. I'm so glad you did.
I'm sure you're pretty busy too, being a business owner and everything.
Mom and everything. And it was funny because I was talking to Danny and we were trying to figure out where to expand to. Like we were just talking. We started out with the music community because that's what we know, but we have over time started to bring in other people in the community because they do so much for the community here. And we're a community all together. So many different things take place in our little community that we wanted to start bringing it to the public as well to offer some other things for them.
Yeah, not only that, but we also want to bring the awareness of the local business owners, because obviously, you can go to Walmart, you can go to Publix, you can
Starbucks.
Go to, you can go to all those
Smoothie King.
big companies, but you're not really feeding the little guy, as you would say. You know what I mean? Yep. We want to be able to create our community, build it strong, and make sure that we take care of our own. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So this is the least that we can do for you.
So I guess we'll start with, since we're talking about Talkhouse right now, what is Talkhouse?
That's such a loaded question with Talkhouse, because when the idea formulated, literally one night, me and my husband were laying down and I was like, let's take this business into a storefront. He looked at me, he's like, you're crazy. And I was like, I know, but we can do it.
What business? So start right there. There you go.
So let me kind of talk about, let me backtrack a little bit. Yep. So this whole thing started almost going on 5 years. In June will be 5 years. And this started as, that I'm going to do a side hustle from home, I'm going to do this thing around my part-time or my full-time job. And it was never really meant to become as big as it is, because I never thought that I could become as much as I have.
Yeah.
So, I started in the beginning, kind of just, selling shakes and teas from home, helping people. And I'll get more into that story a little later. And I really enjoyed that part of helping people and connecting with people. And when the idea of being able to do it in a storefront location, like where I can actually see people face to face and it's not just through text messages and pictures, it really I don't know, for lack of better words, aroused me. And I was like, I gotta do this. I gotta figure out how. I didn't care about the money. I didn't care about any of that. I just knew that I wanted this business. So
So you wanted to help people.
I wanted to help people. Yes. I wanted to help people to do something. So Talkhouse came about. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie or that show Cheers from way back in the day. Okay, so I grew up on that, and
everybody knew your name.
Yes.
And you know everybody's name.
Exactly. So I wanted a place where people could come and just simply feel like family, like feel like they belong. This world that we live in, everybody can use a little bit of that nowadays.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted a place where people could come, not just get healthy and have amazing, protein shakes and energizing teas, but to be able to connect and to feel like they belong a part of something bigger than their jobs, maybe bigger than their gym or bigger than their families, and just make people feel really, really special. So, Talkhouse, the name really speaks for itself. I could have, trust me, I came up with like 1,000 other names and I was like, this works.
That does. And it's so funny because when you drove by it first and we didn't know what it was, we were like, Talkhouse. What could that possibly be? It made you inquire about it.
Yeah, I had no idea what it was until Melissa actually told me what it was, because it's Talkhouse. It literally makes you think, well, it could be a million things.
Yeah, yes.
But it makes sense. It makes sense. It's at Talkhouse because you go there to socialize with other people and talk to people.
Instead of a coffee shop or a bar.
You can get
at a
some healthy
location.
drinks.
Yeah. And, I was so worried that the name was going to work against us, because it didn't really explain what we actually served, but I was okay with that because I knew everybody's going to love the products that we serve. Everyone's going to love our menu, but I wanted people to love the atmosphere and understand the atmosphere. So I think that's really been our mission this last almost year and a half that we've been into this.
Yep.
So
And it's great because it keeps growing and growing.
Yes, and which is such a blessing. We opened up, like I said, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I was doing it. We opened up in the fourth quarter of the year, right before Christmas. Who does that? Even when we opened.
That's pretty ballsy.
And right before COVID happened. So.
Exactly. And I remember people would come in and they're like, you opened up in the fourth quarter of the year? And I'm like, what does that even mean? Why is that a bad thing? I'm like, I'm here.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah. So, it was really scary starting off. So when I started my business, I invested almost nothing. And then when we opened up a commercial location, that's a bigger investment.
Oh, right. You have to product
Let
on
me
hand
ask you
to
this,
make
though.
everything.
Did you go to business school? Did you have any kind of business training?
Yeah. What was your full-time job before?
So it took me 7 years to get my associate's degree in business.
Okay.
I did not like school.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, they can't really take much away from me now, but I really Quizlet and Googled my whole way through college. And that's how I knew, when you're half-assing something, that's when you know this is not what you're meant to be doing. But I was doing it because I come from a background where my parents were like, that's the only way you're going to get ahead in life.
Same here.
So, that Hispanic background,
Oh, jeez.
So,
girl, I totally know that.
Yeah. So
if you don't go to college, you're never going to make it.
Yeah, you're nothing. It took me 7 years to get my associate's degree, and then I went on to get my bachelor's. I was one semester away from graduating with my bachelor's, and I quit college altogether.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So,
now, were you going to college in Florida?
I was going, St. Leo University.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, while being a mom and working full time.
So you were doing all this later on.
Oh, yeah. Later on, yeah.
Yeah, that's hard right there, because I was going to college, being a dad as well, and playing music, and it was like, when do I have time to sleep?
Yeah, my kids would look at me, they're like, are you going to come to bed? And I'm like, not tonight.
I got homework to do, just like you guys do.
Exactly.
So while we're on that, so let's back up even a little bit further to really kind of start now. You were saying, what were you doing before all of that?
So I was in school, of course, let me kind of back up. I guess my story starts when I was 18 years old, maybe even a little bit before. I was your problematic child. I gave my parents absolute hell. I wasn't really destined to be anything great.
Now, did you have siblings, or were you the only child?
I'm the youngest of four.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I was the problem child. I was the one that got my parents around for their money. And my parents had told me, when I was graduating high school, hey, if you want to continue living here, you better go to college or you got to get out. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to college. Well, I went to college and I ended up meeting my husband now. We've been together for 15 years. Crazy to say.
What's his name?
Thomas.
Hey, shout out to Thomas.
And we met in a club in Ybor City, Florida.
Oh, geez.
So now, did you grow up in Florida?
Yeah, born and raised in Tampa.
Okay. Nice. What is your background then? the Latino?
Oh, we're Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's Puerto Rican.
Don't start speaking Spanish to me though, because I don't speak it.
Yeah, you look Puerto Rican enough. It's okay.
Right,
It's okay.
You grew up around Florida. Okay.
Yep. So I grew up around Florida. I met my husband. I went to school in Wesley Chapel. I lived there since I was like 12. So I always say that's basically where I was raised. So I met my husband at Club Piranha in Tampa.
Oh, Club Piranha.
And, I actually gave him my real name, my real phone number, and I was like, okay, this must be something real. And, God had a big plan for us, because I remember one night we were young and stupid and we're talking, we're like, we just need a miracle in life. And whoop, did we get a miracle?
No.
3 weeks later, I found out that I was pregnant, and I was like, oh, here we go.
There's your miracle.
There's our miracle. So we ended up bringing a baby into the world. I ended up having to move out of my parents' house no matter what. So the whole college thing didn't even matter at that point.
Yeah.
And, we brought in a beautiful little girl, and, we were still kind of really getting to know each other and becoming first-time parents. I'll never forget my mom. And
were you married at this time, or you guys weren't even married yet?
No. We were only dating a few months when we had gotten pregnant. Yeah, so things happened quite quick. But I remember when I told my mom I was pregnant and she looked at me and she was like so upset at me. She's like, Nadine, you can't even take care of yourself. I'm going to end up having to take care of your daughter. And that became like a personal mission of mine, to just become like the best version of me.
Absolutely.
Like to straighten out my life and just to do right. So my little angel, she's my miracle baby, definitely, became just, she made me become just something that I never thought was really possible for me.
That's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, kids really pull it out of you.
For sure.
Yes.
You tighten up a lot when that happens.
So life just kind of went on. For that year, we had Jalen, and unfortunately, we were involved in a car accident. After Jalen had turned 1 year, it was that Jalen turned a year in December. In January, we were involved in an accident with a drunk driver who had hit us head on.
Oh, wow.
And we were all severely injured, and unfortunately, my daughter's injuries were too severe that it took her life.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And that literally took us for a spin. It was like, whoa, we're trying to do everything right. We're trying to be great parents. What did we do to deserve this?
Right. And that drunk asshole is the one that just,
Yeah. And, and it was just such a hard moment. Me and my husband, we were in the hospital for 10 days, in the ICU for, 3 or 5 days. I don't really know all the days correctly. And I remember having to make the decision, and we're going to talk about making hard decisions, of course, probably later on.
Sure.
But I remember one of the first hard decisions I ever had to make in my life was deciding whether to keep my daughter on machines or to take her off because she had
support.
Exactly, because she had.
And you're young at this age too, having to deal with this.
I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I was 20 years old. And I remember having to make that hard decision and having to be rational and reasonable and knowing looking at reality and what reality will look like. And I knew it was a decision we had to make no matter how hard it was. And, I remember going home, after the accident, Thomas and I, our apartment wasn't our apartment anymore. We had ended up from a 2-bedroom to a 1-bedroom because I had broken my leg and my leg was completely messed up.
Wow.
He had broken or just injured things all internally.
Oh, wow.
And so, so it was just a really big mess. And, we were on so many pain medications and so many things that, we were prescribed. And there were so many times that we looked at each other and we were like, let's just do it. Let's let these pills and, this alcohol, let it just take over us. And I remember us looking at each other because we weren't the strongest a couple when Jalen was here. And we were like, how are we going to live in honor of her? What are we going to do? We're not going to become
just giving me goosebumps.
Sorry. We're not going to live in depression. We're not going to live in pain. We're going to live in honor of her. And now we just got to figure out how.
You need to turn it around and make it positive.
Exactly. But, family, people had bets. These people, they're not going to make it. They're just going to crumble.
That's a big devastation for somebody to suffer at such a young, early stage in your life and relationship. That is a big thing.
Yeah, it was definitely something that, we never expected, and it was insane. So then we ended up having 2 more kids, getting married in between. And all this time, I really felt like I was just living this life where I was kind of just throwing always chasing happiness so I could hide my depression or I could hide the things that I was dealing with. Right. It was like, I was on like this, run for like adrenaline and excitement in my life, you know, and I didn't want to face anything bad that was happening around me. I was just like, you know, I'm gaining weight. I don't want to look at it. You know, I'm feeling sad. I don't want to look at it. My job sucks. I don't want to look at it. But what's the next fastest thing I can do to make myself happy? And, you know, that came in many forms, whether it was through friends, you know, going out or, you know, going shopping, like just things that.
Anything that would fulfill that void for you.
Exactly. That never really brought any true happiness or value to my life. And that went on, I would say, I mean, till I was about 26 years old, maybe a little bit before that. It's like when I really started to realize that I, you know, had a problem, like, you know, I needed help and, you know, I had to face
now, did what Thomas was in the mirror. Struggle as much as you did too?
Thomas, struggles were a little bit more internal. He, you know, he dealt with things very differently. As for me, like, I felt like my pain, I felt every single day and his was more at different moments. Right. You know, he probably felt it every day, but, you know, his was at moments.
He showed it differently.
Exactly. So definitely, like, living together and mourning definitely was putting pressure on our marriage, or, you know, on our marriage, on our relationship, you know, then having more kids and, you know, of course you have that guilt, like, oh, am I going to, like, how can I love this kid?
To have that
exactly.
child?
Yeah. And that was me. I was like, we have to protect this child. And he's like, we need to let this child experience, like, you know, like, let them be a kid, let them fall. So we dealt with those things very differently, which will put a lot of pressure on us. So you know, things were just, you know, kind of like very, 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 very rocky for a long time. You know, by this time we were married, you know, we had more kids. We were working our corporate jobs. I was going to school. I was always trying to become like the next best thing of myself, you know, changing jobs all the time. My life was, can I say it? It's so chaotic, you know.
I feel that pain definitely.
Yeah.
Well, you're chasing what's going to make you happy.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
If you're not happy, why stay?
Exactly.
You're just going to keep finding the next thing.
Exactly.
Especially with corporate companies that, you know, when they give you that interview, they're selling you their job at the same time, you know. And
and it doesn't
when you start working for them, it's like, no, not. They close the jail doors.
Yeah. So I got some stories, but
I bet.
So then, you know, I started to look for something more. You know, I went to therapy. Therapy to me is huge, and I feel like people don't talk about that a lot. Like, they're embarrassed or they don't want to tell people, like, yeah, I've went and gotten help. Like,
absolutely.
You know, or hey, I had to get put on medication so I could feel a little bit normal or whatever.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, there's so many things that people don't want to talk about, and I'm like, we need to normalize this, because if I would have never went to therapy, I don't think that I would be who I am today. You know, I was diagnosed with PTSD. You know, I was diagnosed with quite a few things, you know, depression. And when I knew that I had those things, but to be told, I was like, okay, you can't ignore this. Right. You got to face it. You know, what are we going to do to be better? So that's when I started to really search for things that were not just going to make me happy, but were actually going to make me better in the long term as well. That weren't just so, like, quick, you know, like instant gratification.
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. Long-term gratification instead of short-term gratification.
I wanted something to stick. So I was on social media and I was watching this girl who would go on stories and she would talk and, you know, and she was pregnant with a baby. So we didn't really have much in common because she didn't have kids, but there was just her words. And every day I would look for her. For 3 years, I watched her. Wow. For 3 years, I watched her and I was like, I just want to be around this girl and I just want to do whatever the hell she's doing. I don't care what she's doing. I just want to do it. As long as it's not illegal, I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And that's how we came into everything that we do now. So it was so funny though, because she inspired me, but I felt like she was, like, I couldn't talk to her, like, you know,
were in awe.
Yeah. Like, it's like kind of like starstruck in a sense, even though she lived in my same city, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I actually called the company that she was a part of and I was like, hey, I want to sign up underneath this girl. And, you know, I just want to, like, whatever. And then I messaged her and I was like, maybe she'll talk to me if I tell her that I'm already signed up with her, you know, whatever. And I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know I joined your team and blah, blah. And, you know, she was like, oh, how exciting. And, like, she was so welcoming and, like, a real person. And, you know, I say that and it's so funny because I hear so many people that who'll come into Talkhouse and they're like, "You're a real person."
Yes.
You're just not a
face. They see that blue star right there next to Talkhouse. It's the official thing, you know?
Yeah. So anyways, so I got started, and when I say I got started, I just really got started on this journey of like taking care of myself.
So you did it for yourself at first.
I did it for myself. Yep. I remember it was March 26th, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. The company at that time, because they're in California, like the corporate headquarters, so, hours behind us. And I called them and I was like, I want to join and I want to do this or whatever. And I was like, Thomas is going to kill me. I'm spending this, I spent money on these products. I don't even know what the hell this is.
Yeah.
And I remember and I was such a type of person that I would once again buy things and think that it was going to make me happy. And I was so worried that was going to be a moment. And I won't lie. And in my head, that's what I thought. I'm going to do this for 2 weeks and I'm never going to look at this again.
Right,
it's going to be a thing, Nadine. And I remember when I got my package, I was like, okay. And she had given me this whole menu and all this stuff to do and and I did it and I was like, this is awesome, and I got part of this accountability group and just around more positive people, and that I allowed myself to just be embraced by that. And
you did something for you.
Yes. And it felt so good. And I remember my daughter asking me Mommy, what are you doing? At that time she was a baby. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. You want to try this? I have no idea what I'm doing. You want to try it? And so, without even realizing, I just started taking in more healthier habits, not just when it comes to eating, but when it came to, just the things that I listened to, the things that I watched, the things that I was allowing into my life, the conversations I was allowing around me. And I felt like I was just having this, I don't know, this complete transformation of my life. And I feel like that sounds so cliche when I say that, but that's how I literally felt. Right. I wanted to face my problems so they can just be my past and no longer keep resurfacing.
Exactly. You want to have that closure with your problems and then just move on.
Exactly. I wanted closure to things so I could move on and just become this better person that I knew I could be, because I saw all these people becoming better and I'm like, well, if they can, why can't I?
Yep.
So, so that's my client, I guess, testimony and kind of getting started in what I did. I went on to losing 30 pounds in 10 pant sizes. I was reaching
10 pant sizes. But just think about that. 30 pounds, but 10 pant sizes. Yeah. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I wasn't even a size 2 in high school, and I'm like, who are you?
I bet that's just looking at yourself in the mirror and just being like,
it's a different person.
Yeah.
I did that. I was able to achieve my goal.
Now, did Thomas follow along with you?
No.
Because I've seen him at Talkhouse and he's in shape too and he's thin and
so he's naturally blessed.
Okay.
No, Thomas I know.
I liked him until now. I'm just kidding.
Thomas was actually completely against everything I was doing. He was like, what are you doing? Our life is fine. Because he was also kind of just in this fog of, life. And he's like, we make great money. Why are you trying to rock our boat? You don't need this shit and blah. I'm here all the time. And then another package would come and he'd be like, what the hell?
That's too funny.
Yeah. So, but he started to see that I was feeling good. But, well, I think it's another subject that nobody likes to talk about. When you're a unit, you're a husband and wife, and you are growing. When you're not growing together, somebody is being left behind. And what does that do? That creates a lot of pressure, tension in your marriage. And that's kind of what was happening to us. I wanted all things positive and just the shining light of life to be allowed into our home. And he was just this dark, gray, angry soul. And I'm like, we can't do this. So we started having even more marriage problems. In 2017, so I started this all in 2016. 2017, it was a year of me just focusing on myself, being a great mom. And honestly, at that point, it was kind of I loved my husband. I knew I wanted us to work, but whatever happened because I needed him to want to work on him too. Not on us, but on him.
Right.
And he wasn't there yet. So it actually came to a point where me and Thomas actually separated, for 6 months. And, that was hard, because I love that man and, to see us part, it was really hard. But sometimes with men or even women, you know, you have to kind of be pushed against the wall to like see, oh my God, things are walking out of my life right now.
For sure.
Absolutely.
To be able to want to say, okay, I need to change. I need to look at myself in the mirror.
I can't be without that person.
Exactly. So, you know, so I remember him coming to me and he's like, we'll go to marriage counseling. We need to fix us. And I was like, bingo, deal, let's go. And so once I say therapy, counseling, I'm all about those types of things, because if it wasn't for marriage counseling, we wouldn't be who we are today. Without marriage counseling and God, we wouldn't be who we are today. And, you know, we rekindled so much. We ended up, you know, of course, got back together. I can't even, like, it was a separation with, like, you know, benefits, I guess.
Of course.
Well, you still had that
gotta
love for
keep
each
the
other.
practice going,
You
you
still
know?
had kids together. So.
Yes, exactly.
But you couldn't live in the same household
Yeah,
together.
we just couldn't. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we ended up getting back together, you know, and since then, our relationship, I have never felt more connected, more strong, more united with my husband than ever. You know, I told him, I was like, our paths can look completely different, but as long as we understand and we're in it together, like if we're in the Greatest Showman, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie.
Yeah.
It says, I was never afraid of making the risk as long as we did it together.
Exactly.
You know, and I always tell him like that's it. I'll do anything in this world with you, but we gotta be in it together. So then, you know, the business opportunity, you know, started booming for me. You know, when I had lost the weight, the business kind of started to happen for me. You know, people started asking me what I was doing. But I wasn't taking it very seriously. But in like 2017, 2018, started really taking off, and I could see myself doing this as a full-time career. You know, what I do is network marketing. So, you know, a lot of people, when they hear network marketing, when you own your own business, you gotta make it yourself.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what kind of business you do. It's whether it's network marketing, MLM, you know what, you gotta make it happen.
That's true.
Or even if you went and signed a franchise, you gotta make it happen at the end of the day. So I asked myself, you know, are you a hard worker? Yes. Will you give up on yourself? No. You know, are you willing to do whatever it takes? Yes. And that's how I knew that if I could do it in my corporate job, I could do it for myself. So, I had this plan going into 2018 that I was going to quit my job in April. In January, Thomas had lost his job, and due to taking care of our sick child. So when you talk about corporate, you know, those jail, and I was just like, oh, you know, like, man, this really put a damper on my plan. Like, I was supposed to, you know, go retire corporate in a couple months. And I told him, I was like, you know what? You're never going to look back at corporate. Thomas is a like avid fisherman, in the Tampa Bay area. I was like, you got a boat. You got the captain's license. You're going to go be a fishing captain, and we're going to figure it out, you know? And so that's so, you know, and he's like, are you serious? Like, how are we going to make money? I said, we're going to make money. Don't worry. So he went on to do that. In April, I went on to quitting my job, on April 1st. I didn't necessarily have a conversation with Thomas about it.
It's like, hey, April Fools.
Yeah, no, so because I used to work from home, and he's like, why are you not getting up till, oh, I'm on vacation. Oh, yeah, I took some days off. And I was like, listen, I gotta be real with you. I put in my 2 weeks notice. I thought they were gonna give me 2 weeks, but when I had given it to them, they had told me that day could be my last day. So I didn't have 2 weeks to prep. To tell them, like, hey, this is happening. But I was so confident in my decision because I knew I was going to be able to make it happen. I was going to make the income to pay our bills. I was going to make it. I would never allow my kids to go without, and that has always been my driving force is our children.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That would definitely do it.
Yeah, for our
that would definitely do it.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, ended up, you know, going full time, and it was like the best decision ever. All 2018, we were riding this high wave, running our business through social media. The fit camps that we do at Talkhouse, I used to do, because we didn't have a storefront at that point. We were doing all over Tampa Bay, just getting community together. You know, there was no like, come in and have a shake. It was just free workouts, just getting community together.
So you guys do free workouts there. What days do you guys do that?
Saturday mornings, at 8:30 a.m. But make sure you guys follow us on our Instagram and our Facebook, at Talkhouse Trinity, because we're going to be launching some exciting things when it comes to our fit camps. Now that it's getting darker later, we got more time to play with.
Yeah,
and as the business owners, we don't waste time.
That's true.
So I'm sorry, I kind of forgot where I was at.
You're punching in your social medias.
Oh yeah. So we were, you know, running this through social media, doing all these different things. riding this high wave, you know, super exciting. Thomas was doing good in his career, and I was looking at him like, you see, it works. We're doing it. And then 2019 rolled around. First quarter was great. The rest of 2019, I literally looked at myself and was like, I ruined my family. We hit a really rough patch in business. It happens, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's where like personal development and really getting to know yourself and understanding like, you know, why you do something.
For sure.
So that way you can push through those hard times. But 2019 was definitely a year that we took a lot of punches in the stomach. And I just kept showing up with a smile, and I'm like, don't worry. He's like, how? How are you like still so positive? And I'm like, mindset and faith. Like, that was it.
Right.
And we went to this event in, where were we? I think we were in Texas. The last one was New Orleans. Sorry, we were in New Orleans. And they were talking about these nutritional locations, that we could open with our business. They've been around for over like 12, you know, we're not the first like location like ours. We're the first Talkhouse. But we saw that there was like these things were growing. There's actually more of our locations than there are of Starbucks, in the United States, and growing. Yeah. So, you know, and I was kind of seeing how people were doing it, and I was like, this is interesting. I could do this. And I looked at Thomas and I was like, we're doing this. And he looked at me. He's like, yeah, well, what money? And I was like, I don't know, but we're going to figure it out. So he came home, and, you know, I started drafting up ideas. My sister's an interior designer. So I reached out to her, and I'm like, I need you to start working on a design. I don't know what the place is going to look like or where it's going to be. But I want you to draw something up. And like, I started creating menus and like all this stuff. And I was like,
because you use only the products from them.
Yes, exactly. We don't use anything else. So we are strictly from the company that I've been using for the past 4 years. And like, just to, backtrack a little bit as well. Before we had went to this event, because we were having such a bad year, I remember reaching out. I was actually looking to go back to corporate, and it was such a low moment in my life.
I understand.
Yeah. But I had actually started reaching out because I was an insurance agent, before, you know, going into business for myself. Yep. So I was playing that game. And so I was like, well, I got a license. I can go get hired anywhere. So I actually got hired by a job. And I was like, okay, when I get back from this vacation I'm going on, I didn't tell them like business trip, this vacation I'm going on, I'll reach back, or, you know, we'll start. So I was supposed to start like 2 days after I got back. I get back. I did not have a location. I didn't have shit, guys. I had a vision. That's what I had. And I called the guy, who had given me the job offer, and I was like, hey, I'm not going to be able to accept your job offer because I came back from New Orleans and my husband surprised me with my own storefront location.
Nice.
And I can't work for you because I'm going to work for myself. And he's like, okay, like, you know, like whatever.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it was too funny. So,
I bet it felt amazing to say
that. It did, but it wasn't even real.
I know.
You know, my financial situation at that time was still my actual my problem, you know, but I was like, trust the process. You know, some people want things to come so easy, but like what successful person has any kind of an easy story?
If it was too easy, everybody would be doing it.
And then we'd have no story to tell. I wouldn't be sitting right here, you know? And I think that's like the meat of the potatoes of like, this is the part that I love. This is the part that I can connect. I can't connect to somebody telling me I just got a Lamborghini because I got a Lamborghini.
Exactly.
Well, what'd you go do?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
What kind of drugs are you selling?
Yeah.
What kind of drugs are you selling?
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, is there a struggle there?
I know, right?
Because if not, then I don't really care.
So let me ask you this real quick. What's exactly inside of the drinks?
Oh, amazingness.
Well, obviously, other than that.
I mean, it's amazingness. So we use Herbalife Nutrition. So Herbalife has been around for over 40 years. Okay. You know, you hear about Herbalife. Hey, you may hear 1,001 things. And the reason why I am so passionate about it, not only because of the results that I have, but how amazing and how fitting it's been to my lifestyle. You know, it's one, and I'll talk about this a little bit when we talk more about Talkhouse. One of the reasons why we try to keep the name out of it, just from a branding standpoint, but never to hide what we do or, you know, the products that we consume. But some people, you know, out there, they have like this, stigma, about Herbalife, and I feel sad for them at the end of the day because they're missing out on really good shit.
I've seen it all. I've seen it too.
And I think they have a stigma about all sorts of different things. Yeah. It's not just Herbalife, because I know people, we've even tried Thrive. Like, so many people we know do that, use that, and have had results. And then you have the others who do poo-poo their nose at it, just like Herbalife, just like Atkins, or any of them. Yeah. They all have that.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of these, a lot of companies like that, no matter what you do, yes, they want something, they want their customers to have that good results. But at the same time,
you have to work for it.
Yeah, you're always. Yes. It's not like you can just drink these drinks and you're gonna look amazing the next day.
Yeah,
it takes time. It takes you still gotta do your work. You gotta prepare yourself mentally. Yeah. You still gotta get up and work out.
Yeah,
you still gotta do your things to be able to stay healthy, man. And
there's no magic pill for anything. It's what you do for it.
You always get those keyboard warriors or the social media warriors that are just trolls and fuck those people, man. It doesn't,
but it's done amazing for you guys.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's been amazing. Yeah,
you guys have been so successful. It's amazing.
Exactly. We have a humongous team, many, and and I always tell myself, like, I remember in the beginning, especially when people would say, oh, that's a pyramid scheme or whatever. And I'd be like, well, first off, like, do you think I would be a part of a pyramid scheme? Do you think I would do that? And I would take it very personally. I'm like, these people just don't know.
Exactly.
And, I gotta give them grace and educate them if they want to be educated, but if not, then it's on them, and at the end of the day, my goal is to simply help people to feel how I feel and help people through the journey of which I've went through. And our products are amazing, but people come because of me, the distributor.
Exactly.
Yep. You know what I mean? The distributor and the relationship that they get to make. And so, I mean, for any of my network marketing, multi-level marketing people out there, like, at the end of the day, it's not your product that they're hating on. They're hating on you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They're hating on the growth and the come up and, this thing that you're doing. It's not the product, because the product is
being successful.
Exactly.
You're being successful. Yeah. People don't like seeing success if it's not on them.
Yeah.
So now you have Talkhouse.
Yes.
Now is Thomas still fishing as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
I'm gonna have to give him a call, man, because I need some water therapy.
There you go. That's what I do when we get too much. I'm like, go fishing.
Well, and you just recently moved over here also to be closer to the location.
Yeah. So I'll actually talk about that, and so let me get into that. So, like I said, in July, we came back with this big vision of opening up the location. By October 1st, we had signed on this Trinity location, but it's kind of crazy how we were kind of pulled to this area. We were living in Wesley Chapel, which is about 30 to 40 minute drive without traffic. Yep. And my goal was to open up in Wesley Chapel because that's where I grew up, and I was like, well, boom here. But it didn't work out. And there was I remember the realtor was like, there's a place in Trinity. I was like, Trinity? So I was like, let's go check it out. So when we got there, where we're driving, and I'm like, oh man, my daughter's buried 1 mile from here. 1 mile.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is she at the Trinity Gardens?
She's at Trinity Gardens.
Okay.
And I'm like, Jalen's right there, and this place is like literally right down here. And I was like,
it's
Thomas, this is it. I was like, this is it. So, it was, when we went to go see it, it was a liquor store, so talk about not being able to see like a vision of
absolutely. I've been in that liquor store before, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
I had to really have like this vision of what I wanted to create. And I went in there and it just all came to me, and I was like, this is it. Like, I don't know how the hell we're going to do this, but this is it. Mm-hmm. And we signed the lease, we had got into negotiations by October 1st was when the lease was signed. So Thomas is not just a fishing captain, but he is also an amazing handyman. So he was able to do, a lot of our work. We were completely blessed in that. And I really think that's where he kind of found, like, okay,
the love for
what we were creating.
Nice.
And it's crazy, like he'll tell anybody, oh yeah, I was a complete Herbalife hater. I was a complete, this business hater, like what she was doing, but I love my wife, so I was there. But now, like, he's like, so am I going to the club today or you? So it's pretty neat. It's awesome to be able to work with him, and then also allow him to go and run his own business and his dreams as well.
Right.
So that's always, it's been a blessing, being able to work with each other. Now, he's no longer a hater. He sees it like, men, they like to see money. They like to see the green.
It's dollar signs.
Yeah. So when he was, when he was seeing like what we were creating prior to opening and now he's just like, all right.
Oh yeah, because he's
definitely love it now.
Smile on his face all the time.
I'm definitely gonna love it now.
I know. I was like, how can you not?
Exactly.
Yep. So he's got a smile on his face all the time. But now you've also changed it up a little bit. You're not only doing the shakes and the teas, you've actually started doing, I know, like some waffles, some protein waffles, some donuts.
Yep.
So you're being able to use that product to make some other things as well.
Yeah. So, I wish I could take like all these awesome things that these distributors in our company have come up with. I wish I could say, oh, that was all me. Mm-hmm. No. Like the distributors in this company are honestly like the most innovative people I've ever met. And they're like, well, we can make cake with this. People are making pizza with some of our products. Like it is insane what they're doing with them. And I'm like, okay, we have to have a boundary. Mm-hmm. So we started the waffles. I make pancakes at home. I will not bring them to Talkhouse because they are the most ugliest things in the world, but they taste delicious. Nice. But yeah, there's so many different things. So we've launched the waffles, the oatmeal bowls. We've launched the protein donuts. We have some things underneath our sleeves that we hope to launch, going forward. Mm-hmm. But we like keeping our customers engaged. Like, what are they going to do next? Mm-hmm. We don't want to just put it all out there because then it's like, well, what else do we have to give to them?
Yeah.
So now that you're getting into a little bit in depth about future stuff that you may not be doing, can we get at least a little exclusive sneak peek of what you got in the works in the future?
All right. So Thomas is currently, I don't know why, he is like hooked on this popsicle idea.
Ooh,
making some of our protein shakes into popsicles.
Ooh,
but also
summertime.
Yes, and then also some of our hydration drinks into popsicles
now,
for like kids.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, for the summertime. We definitely have a whole new line of shakes coming out.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're kind of also going to be dabbling. I think I'm giving you guys a lot, but
that's why I'm still quiet. Keep going.
We're also going to be So, Herbalife also came out with a rice, pea, and quinoa protein. So like more the vegetarian base.
Nice.
So, we have some ideas to bring that on board.
So you're just expanding this concept.
Yes. So that's the thing is that we have so much. And I told Thomas by the time we say we figure this out, it's going to be time to renew our lease. And he's like, well, it's not like we're not going to renew. Right. He's like, we cannot not renew.
Exactly. And you guys and the plaza that you guys are in is great too.
Yeah, it's growing.
What a great shopping plaza that you guys are in.
You have this Dang Good Sushi now has taken over one of the actual spots instead of just being the food truck that they were.
Yes.
So that is amazing.
Yes, and they're really good friends of ours that we met actually through Talkhouse.
Right. Nice.
So it's a blessing to have them next. We have the nail salon, boutique nail salon next door to us. We have Escape Brewery.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a poppin' little, plaza. So I'm excited.
Oh
that
man,
awesome.
that's going to be pretty badass.
And I love the fact, one, like I said, you pretty much know everybody that comes in to the shop by name. You recognize them always, usually after the first or second time, coming in there. I love that you get out and participate with everybody. And I also love the fact that you don't push the product on everybody.
No, yeah.
I didn't know for the longest time that that's really what you guys were using because you don't flaunt that or push that on people unless they start asking, which is great because some people would right away spew that in your face and be like, oh yeah, if you need to do this, you need to buy this, come look at, and you guys don't do that, which is great.
Exactly.
Nobody knows that that's what you are doing. We're there thinking we're just having some nice healthy shakes, some nice healthy drinks.
Yes.
It's good for you, talking to the other people. I mean, I've come to a bunch of those classes, the fit camps on Saturday mornings, and it's just, you start talking to the people and it's all different age groups. That's the best thing about it.
Yeah.
You've got people that are teenagers there coming, and you've got people that are in their 80s coming there, not only to do the fit camp, but to come in there and sit there and socialize and have a healthy drink.
Network with other people.
And it's amazing.
It's such a great environment, and the vibe in there is just great. And I haven't been able to get to the fit camps yet because I'm always playing
But I
disc
brought in
golf.
plenty of shakes.
Yeah. But I've definitely had the shakes and stuff like that, and I love them.
Oh, good.
Every single time, it's amazing. Hopefully, we can go out there and hang out a little bit more with you guys.
Now I can start getting back into the fit camp because I had some surgery and I couldn't do any exercise.
Yes. She was out for a little while.
12 weeks of not doing anything. So now
do you guys do like, do you guys have any daily specials or anything like that you guys do?
Yeah, so basically we have something different going on every single day. Once again, if you follow us on our social media platforms, we like to kind of just make it exciting. We don't have like a structure or a daily, like every Monday you're going to see this, just because people will get used to that. And I like being creative and I like, coming up with different things. But we do have like a loyalty reward program. We also have a text club, that also gives you some amazing promotions through there as well.
Awesome.
And so how do people join that if they want to join that?
So if you want to join this, text club, hold on. Let me look it up. I know the number, but I don't know the number. It's right here though. It's in my page.
It's all good.
But yeah, you guys can ask me.
We got so many.
What is your Instagram page?
All right. So the Instagram page is going to be Talkhouse Trinity, as well. Facebook page is going to be Talkhouse Trinity as well. So it's Talk, guys. TALK, house. And then, for the send text, so basically you get, exclusive promotions that people don't get in the store when you're part of this club. And so if you text talk about it, capital, all one word, to 57838, you can join us and you actually get a little bit of a savings when you do join. So,
there you go. You heard it here.
And what is the fit camp?
So the fit camp, so once again, right now we're doing those Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. But we're working to actually, so I guess I'll kind of share here what our plan is, was bringing it on Tuesdays and Thursdays, at 7 p.m. So running like a 30-minute class and kind of opening up our shop for that late time.
Nice, because you guys are only open from what hours usually?
So our hours have been everywhere. And if I say if there's one thing I don't do great as a business owner is, hours. So, we've kind of been everywhere with hours on what works, what doesn't work. And I finally had to ask myself, Nadine, what works, what makes you happy?
Right.
Once again, what makes you happy and what is sustainable in your life? So right now we're doing 7 to 2, Monday through Friday, 8 to 2 Saturdays, and then Sundays 10 to 2. But I say this right now, and I guarantee by the time that summer rolls around, our hours are definitely going to be longer because we're going to be, making sure that our customers are taken care of through the hot.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
Right.
What do they call it now? Hot body summer? Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I like that.
I'm not about that life, but
hey, I'm all about the dad bod summer life. That's what I'm about.
We got you guys.
And you also, kid friendly.
Yes, very kid friendly. I have kids, so my kids are always out there. You'll see sometimes my daughter with my cell phone.
And they have some special drinks for the kids and stuff that they can drink.
Yep. So the kids can have any of our shakes. We have a full, hydration menu for kids as well. So yeah, definitely our menu is for everyone, any age. Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's pretty awesome. And, another thing that I wanted to ask is, do you guys do any kind of events?
Yes. So we do quite a few different events each month. For me, I'm really into like giving back and like just trying to get into the community, help other business owners, doing vendor events. So when I say vendor events, I do something that's called a sip-in shop. I don't charge vendors anything to be a part of it because it costs nothing to support another business.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So they'll come in, they'll do their little pop-up tables and, bring their customers. Our customers will see them. It'll give them new exposure. It'll also give us new exposure. Mm-hmm. So we do those. The next one is actually going to be on Sunday, May 2nd from 10 to 2. I'm trying to do those every first Sunday of the month.
Nice.
In fall, we did a fall festival that I swear in the middle of COVID, we had like over 1,500 people. It was insane.
That is amazing.
It was insane. I don't know how we did not get closed down that day. But I want to do like a spring fling or something like that going forward. So, I have a lot of ideas. Let's just see what this next season in our life is going to actually roll out and we'll implement.
Well, make sure that you let us know so we can, keep pushing you guys out as much as we can.
Yeah, definitely.
I know you're so busy, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you accepted to come in and talk with us and promote you locally.
I do want to ask her our famous final question.
Yep.
One thing that you would say to someone, whether it's a kid or an old person or whoever that is trying to follow
who's struggling and needs positivity.
Yes, that has struggled through similar things that you have gone through, whether it's being a business owner, whether it is as a mother, whether it is as a woman, whether it is as, you know, losing a child. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just it.
What kind of positivity? What would you say to them to keep them on track or turn their life around?
Exactly.
I always say to myself, you have to know yourself in order to be able to move forward in anything in life. So, you know, for me being such a lost person, getting to know myself was number one, and actually like the things that I enjoy, the things that I like, the things that I want to achieve, and then why. And to tie the things that you want to create to something bigger than yourself and bigger than money, because you can go and make money anywhere. You can go and, you can do those things anywhere, but you have to tie it to something. And like me, I tie it to my kids, yes, but my kids will always be taken care of. So what else? What is your bigger purpose? And for me, it is literally to see people look at themselves in the mirror and say, I'm worthy, you know, and I feel amazing about myself and I love myself, and, you know, and just never give up on yourself. Like, it's not going to be easy. You know, you're definitely going to have your days where you're just like, this is not working. We're not getting the views. We're not getting the, you know, the likes and all that. And I always say likes don't pay my bills.
Exactly.
You know, don't let social media.
Musicians go through that as well.
Yes,
trust me.
Don't let social media influence you so much to where you start to feel like you're inadequate, and just stay in your lane and trust in your faith. That's what I would say I do every single day.
That's beautiful.
Awesome.
And that's amazing. And you guys heard it here from Nadine. And thank you again for being here.
Oh, of course.
And just so you guys know, the song that you guys heard here is by Frankie Ray, our beautiful Frankie Ray. And that song is called Brave. You should actually take a listen to that one. And, again, thank you, Frankie Ray.
Another strong woman.
Yes. Thank you, Frankie Ray, for creating those amazing lyrics. And that amazing album, because the whole album was great. Mm-hmm. So the song that we will be playing to close out this episode is going to be Brave by Frankie Ray once again, because I want to promote her and give her a shout out once again. So why don't you go ahead and close us out.
All right, guys. Well, I just want to thank the Social Banter for allowing me on your guys' show. This is Nadine Dominguez, owner of Talkhouse Nutrition. You guys can follow me on my Instagram page at Life as Nadine. Also follow Talkhouse at Talkhouse Trinity. It is a blessing, and just remember, every single day, take one step forward to the goals that you want to achieve. And you guys have a rocking out day.
Awesome.
They never mentioned his name on the news. A Stanford boy couldn't do much harm. They never gave her truth. The truth that lies beneath their white smiles. But all of us know what this is about, boys. It takes all we have just to be safe. It takes everything we've got just to be brave in our hearts. Through everything we worked for, all the walls we've crushed and the love we've made. Brave in our minds. Through everything we ran from, all the bonds we built and the hate we faced. Just to be brave. His only plan was to save the world. Loaded and ready, he gave them what they deserved. And he saw his skeletons in their smiles. Seeing knew he couldn't laugh along. But the trigger was pulled and we'll divert the blame now. Because it takes all we have just to be safe. It takes everything we've got just to be from, all the bonds we built and the hate we face. See, maybe we're the only ones left to blame, ignoring the truth and the shame. See, maybe we're the only ones who can break the chains and be brave in our hearts. Oh, everything we worked for, all the walls we crushed and the love we made. Believe in our minds, through everything we ran from, all the bonds we built and the hate we faced.